Okay, so we're going to talk about special angles now, and they really are special. First, we'll do it in degrees. And I'm going to include the quadrantal angles along with it. Now, they're special in that we just use them a lot in trigonometry. They come up all the time, okay? So we're going to start at 0 degrees, okay? And then we're going to go a third of the quadrant to 30 degrees. Then we're going to go half of the quadrant to 45 degrees. Then we're going to go 2/3 of the way, which is 60 degrees. And then we're at the next quadrantal angle, which is 90 degrees. Okay? All right, so that's like the first quadrant, and those are the special angles in the first quadrant. Then we're going to keep going around the circle. So go another 30 degrees. You're at 120. And then from 90, go another 45 degrees. Well, I'm making that a little too long. Oops, that's not straight. Okay, 45 degrees, which is 135 degrees. And I'm only going in the positive direction. We're only going counterclockwise on these. You could go counterclockwise, but we're just doing the positive ones. Okay, now I want to go 60 degrees plus the 90 degrees. That's going to be 150 degrees. And then I'm at the next quadrantal angle, which is 180 degrees. Okay? Then I'm going to add 30 to 180. That's going to be 210. Then I'm going to add 45 to 180, which is 225. Then I'm going to add 60 to 180, which is 240. And then I'm to the next quadrantal angle, which is 270 degrees. Now, there's pictures of these in the book, and I'm going to write them out again also. And I'll put a chart for you in Canvas. Okay, from 270, we're going to add 30 degrees. That's going to be 300. From 270, we're going to add 45 degrees. That's 315. And from 270, we're going to add 60 degrees, which is 330 degrees. And then we're all the way around the circle to 360 degrees. They include both 0 and 360 when they're listing the special angles. Okay, so I'll try to list them all right here. 0 degrees, 30 degrees, 45 degrees, and 60 degrees. And then we're to the quadrantal angle, 90 degrees, which I guess I should put that in orange, 0 degrees. Okay. Then we go to the next quadrant, quadrant 2. I'm at 120 degrees, 135 degrees, 150 degrees, and then the next quadrantal angle, which is 180 degrees. I might have to write a little smaller. Okay, now quadrant 3. 210 degrees, 225 degrees, 240 degrees, and the next quadrantal angle, which is 270 degrees. Fourth quadrant, 300 degrees, 315 degrees, 330 degrees, and then the last quadrantal angle in one full rotation, 360 degrees. Okay, so those are the special angles in degrees. You want to learn those, okay? It'll be very helpful for you to be familiar with them. Okay, now we're going to do the same thing with radians. Okay, so let's think about it this way. If we went completely all the way around the circle, we know that that's 2 pi. So 360 is 2 pi. Now, what if we went halfway around the circle? So from here to here, halfway around the circle. That was pi. So remember we talked about 360 equaling 2 pi. Divide them both by 2 then, and now 180 is pi radians. So all of these measures I'm doing now are in radians. I don't write out the word radians for each one because it would just take up too much room. Okay, but we're going to be using 2 pi as our basis for a full rotation. And then we're saying, okay, well, what if you only went half of the way around? So 180 degrees has the same measure as pi radians. Okay. What if you went a fourth of the way around? So, you know, cut your 180 in half. That's going to be pi over 2. Now, what if I went halfway between pi and 2 pi? That would be 3 pi over 2. Now, what if I went 0 degrees? I didn't go any on the rotation. That would be 0 radians. Now, notice the difference. You don't have the degree symbol. So 0 degrees and then 0 radians is just a 0. Okay? All right. Now, think about the relationship between 30 degrees and 90 degrees. Right? It's a third. So what would a third of pi over 2 be? Pi over 6. And so if I went 30 degrees, that would be pi over 6. Now, what if I was at 45 degrees? That's halfway, right? So that's going to be pi over 4. And then if I went 60 degrees, you could think about that a couple ways. You could think of it being 2/3 of pi over 2, and that's going to be pi over 3. Okay? So that's quadrant 1. Now, what if I wanted to add to that? Okay, so 120, that would be, I was thinking of something else, 2 pi over 3. Okay, and 135 is going to be 3 pi over 4. So that's going to be like right here. It's halfway in between pi over 2 and pi. So it's going to be 3/4 of the way from 0 to over to pi. Okay, so 3 pi over 4. And then finally, I would have a 1 in the second quadrant. It'd be like right here, which would be 150 degrees around. It's almost pi. So it's going to be, you're going to back up like 30 degrees, or pi over 6. So it's going to be 5 pi over 6. Okay. Then you're at 180 degrees, right? Okay, so you're at pi radians. Then you're coming down here, you want to add pi over 6, right? So that's going to be 7 pi over 6. Think about taking pi and adding, you know, pi over 6 to it. Then you're going to want to go halfway between pi and 3 pi over 2. That's going to be 3 pi over 4. And then 240 degrees, you're going to go over here, and then that's going to be like pi over 3 added to pi, so it's going to be 4 pi over 3. Okay, that's the third quadrant. Now we're going to go into the fourth quadrant. So you're at 270, and you want to add pi over 6 to it. So you're at 3 pi over 2, but you're going to add pi over 6 to it. So that's going to be what? I never go that way. I always go the other way. I like back up 60 degrees. So I want to take out a pi over 3 from 2 pi. So that's going to be 5 pi over 3. And then the 45 degrees, well, I'm adding another pi over 3, right? So it's going to be 5 pi over 4. And then the last one is going to be 11 pi over 6. I think I have a number wrong, so let me double check. I do. I didn't want 5 pi over 4. I think I already had that somewhere, didn't I? I forgot to take it from 2 pi. Okay, so I want it to be 8 pi. Oops. Sorry, 7 pi over 4. Okay, so I'm like at 2 pi, which would be 8 pi over 4, and I'm backing up 45 degrees, or backing up pi over 4. So that would be 7 pi over 4. Okay, so those are the special angles. We want to be familiar with them. It's going to take you some time, but the charts will help, you know. But eventually you want to not have to use the chart for everything. You're going to want to be able to know 30 degrees is a special angle, pi over 4 is a special angle, things like that.